Hey guys, everything new under the sun. Very, very short video. We are at war with Russia, and that's what Russia believes as well. This is an article from bloombergquint.com, rather. Ex-oligarch says Putin sees war with West already underway. This is the way war is being done these days. This is World War III. And it's not like other wars. It's not a conventional weapon war. And I think we knew that already. It's not even really a cyber attack war. That didn't really unfold as we might have thought World War III would. In fact, this is a complete and total financial war. Each side is using financial weapons of mass destruction. The West, thinking it can completely take out Russia by sanctioning them, and Russia basically working with China, looking to go to a gold standard, forcing people to buy their energy in the ruble. They are waging financial war against the West, and they believe they can take out NATO. Putin himself believes, indeed, that this is not just a war against Ukraine. This is a war against the West. So it says that the U.S. and its Western allies fail to understand that from Putin's perspective, they are already at war with Russia, said Mikhail Khodorkovsky, the exiled former head of Yukos Oil Company, who was once the country's richest person. With the U.S. and major powers ramping up sanctions on Moscow, supplying weapons to Kiev, and training Ukraine's military, Putin views his nation as essentially being at war with America. Putin views his nation as essentially being at war with America and Europe on Ukrainian soil. It's not a conventional war. No countries want to have conventional war. No countries want to see nuclear weapons used. But, and I think Putin knows that, and he also knows that we are effectively at war with Russia, the West against Russia right now, as we feed money, as we feed weapons. We're just not crossing that kind of visible mental line in the sand, that red line of NATO troops or U.S. troops directly against Russian troops, but we're doing everything else beside that. And Putin knows it, and I think he calculated that from the beginning. Western arguments drawing a hard line between conflict with Ukrainian land and the spread of the war into NATO members' territory are a nuance that means little to Putin, who's falling out with the Russian leader, said Khodorkovsky, who's falling out with the Russian leader in the early 2000s, led him to spending nearly a decade in prison before going into exile. It says Putin has said from the very beginning that this war includes them, said Khodorkovsky, 58. Putin thinks NATO is weak and that they will not defend the Baltics. If Russia attacked those nations, all former members of the Soviet Union. If that plays out, he said, Putin believes NATO will collapse, and that means the American global influence will plummet. And that's what Russia wants. They want to get rid of the dollar dominance, the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency, and they want to be a bigger power in the world. And Putin knows effectively that we are in World War III. He knows he is battling Western nations. In fact, NATO, as weapons, ammunition, money streams into Ukraine from all NATO nations. And, the whole world knows it is World War III. It's just that no one wants to say it because that may move to conventional warfare. And no one's interested in destroying people or lives at this point necessarily. But they do want to wear each other down financially, economically, to where one has to buckle and bow to the other. And Russia wants the U.S. to buckle and bow financially in terms of economic collapse to Russia. And Russia wants to stop the New World Order that he believes the West and the Western nations are planning, including Europe. So interesting revelation, if that's what it is, from this particular very wealthy individual who came out of Russia and fell out with the Russian leader at that point. So does he have insight? I think the key point is here that indeed We are in World War III right now, whether you like it or not. And this is a different sort of war, and no one has experienced this before, and that means we don't know what the outcome is either. Something to think about. World War III, it's upon us. We just don't know it yet, basically. Think about it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.